I think I manifested that, that thinking every day, and not, but I didn't know what. And then that came out, and I even met the person that it was on the article. We became friends and colleagues. We did things together, like seminars and workshops and everything. So it was really, and Google Hangouts, that's back then in 2010, 2011. That was quite popular, and we did it too. It was good. It was a good experience.
Are you tired of looking in the mirror and hating what you see? Tired of wondering if your stomach looks fat during sex, or avoiding being naked altogether because of the way you talk to yourself? Are you tired of being confident in public while secretly picking yourself apart in private? Good. That's why you're here. Welcome to Your Unapologetic Life, your go-to guide to feeling confident in your body, comfortable naked, and in love with sex. I'm your host, Morgan Barkis, author, speaker, exotic dance instructor, and empowerment coach for women. I earned my master's in marriage and family therapy while stripping to pay for graduate school, and guess what? I loved the work so much, I danced for over a decade. Now I coach women who are ready to flip the negative self-talk, rewrite the stories that have kept them playing small, and finally feel powerful and sexy in their bodies. All without strict diet plans, soul-crushing workouts, or another Cosmo-style 5 tips for the best sex of your life list. This isn't positive affirmation confidence. This is confidence embodied. This podcast isn't about becoming someone new. It's about stepping into the most unapologetic, pleasure-filled version of you. If you're looking for a judgment-free space to talk about sex, beauty standards, trauma, pleasure, and power, you're in the right place. And if you're looking for sugarcoating or PG conversation, this probably isn't the show for you. Whether I'm flying solo or bringing you raw, honest conversations with powerful women, every episode is designed to help you ditch the insecurities, reclaim your body, and start living like the unapologetic woman you were meant to be. So turn up the volume, listen at 1.5 speed while you're doing other things, and strap in for this wildly unapologetic ride, because I'm a crazy driver. Let's talk about where you are. I like to get a geographic, like some people you can be chatting with them and one, you forget to ask their name or even where they live. Like you're like, oh, you live in Canada? Like, so it's just nice to give like a geographic, where are you in the world? So tell us.
Right now I'm in Puerto Rico. Well, I live now in Puerto Rico.
Okay, and where are you from?
Puerto Rico. I'm
There you
Puerto
go.
Rican, but I live I split my time for like 10 years or a bit more in the UK because of my marriage, and my husband, well, my husband is English.
Yeah.
That's why. And I loved it there. That's like, it was good. I really like living over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have it in my heart that I will live abroad at some point. I don't know when it will happen and how it's going to happen. And I believe in things like you put it out into the universe and somehow things transpire. And so it's always been in my head and in my heart that I'll
Well,
live abroad.
I'm gonna tell you this because I don't want to, take too much of your time for the
No, I
interview.
love that. You take as much time as you want. You tell your stories.
Yeah, but I did visualize. We were living in his hometown, and because we live in the state, we live here. Then we moved to Florida. I didn't like Florida, or at least where I was in Florida, and then
Yeah.
we moved to California and to the Bay Area, which we both love it. But I think I loved it even more.
Yeah.
We both liked it. He really liked it, and then that was back in 2008, and the financial crash and all that, so I lost the job that I have, so we came here. And then but then he went on to the UK, and that's when I was splitting my time between the two, but I was more there than over here. And we live in the town, and it was a flat apartment in American English, and then but I always wanted to live in a house. And for years I said, well, what's the minimum we could get? And over there is very common, like the 2 up, 2 down, and that's like a terrace house or a cottage.
Okay.
And I said, and I would like to have a fireplace in the house. Well, in 2020, the flat got got on fire. That was during the pandemic. I happened to be over here. I got, with the shutdown of everything, I got stuck over here. So I went there later in the year in 2020. And but he managed to get it wasn't a terrace house, it was a cottage, two up, two downs with a fireplace. It took
Oh,
years, but I did.
I like that. So you manifested it.
Yeah, and with a garden because we had dogs, so I wanted a garden. It was a small one, but it's like I couldn't believe it. It's one of
Yeah,
those things like if I manifested this, then I most definitely manifest other things. It's just that you don't know how long it's gonna take,
sure.
obviously. And I've been visualizing myself like living part time in Europe, the UK. I don't think I'll be able to move like full time over there because there's other things going on over here, family wise and business wise, I will always have to come here. But that's something that I've been wanting. One of the reasons why for me it's so important this coaching business, because I can do it online.
Hmm.
And plus I love it. I like it. I really enjoy it doing the coaching that I do. I like business. I like entrepreneurship. So, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's why I wanted to. And even I will tell you, going to a retreat, Gina's retreat. I was wanting to go since the day I signed up with her, and that was back in 2018. Then
Oh,
I
wow.
disappeared. Yeah, and I always received their emails and all of that, and I always wanted to go, but it never did happen until last year.
That is awesome. And so for the listener, and she's like, wait, what is she talking about? Who's Gina? So Yaritza and I met. We got sat next to each other. We went to a live retreat in South Florida, and it was an awesome opportunity to get together with a bunch of women who were part of the Divine Living Academy. So Gina DeVee has the Divine Living Academy. I probably followed her for like 10 years on social media before I finally felt ready to dive in and hire a
Mhm.
business coach or be a part of like a business coach academy situation. It sounds like you, so I joined 2024. You actually joined in 2018 and didn't go to a retreat until
Yeah.
2025. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're a free spirit. So tell me two things. One, where you think you got your belief that if you think about it and like put it into the universe, it'll happen. And then two, where you got your travel spirit from. Because I would say I got my free spirit from my mom. Because I mean, if she wouldn't have met my dad, she would have probably lived in a commune somewhere in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Like she was a free spirit. She is a free spirit. My dad is the manifester. Like when I remember as a kid, it was like, well, we're going to do this. And my mom would say, how are we going to do that? And he'd be like, I don't know, but it's going to happen. And then it would happen. It was just like, for instance, somebody near us put up 200 acres of land for sale. And my mom's like, like, we don't even know if he's going to sell it to us. And how are we going to find the money and this, that, and the other? Who got the land? We got the land, So it was just like, if my dad put it into the universe, it happened. So I think
Mhm.
that's where I got that like belief from him. I was like, oh, well, if you say you're going to do it, it happens. You find it somehow, it happens. So where do you think you got your free spirit and or your belief in manifestation? Where did you get that from?
That was a lot of reading and education, like a lot of self. I became a self-help junkie. I
Okay.
read a lot of books and,
At what
and
age? At what age did you start?
I will say my late 30s, early 40s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it's because I never have like the career I planned, like I went to college, I got a master's degrees and all of that, but I always end up with dead end jobs. And thanks to my husband, he said to me, Yaritza, if we were living in California, that's back in 2008. He
Mm-hmm.
says, think about what you can do for yourself business wise, because he always had a business. He always owned a business. And I remember going to work, taking the Martha, the train every day. And I will think, that ride, that 20-minute ride or half an hour ride, I will think about it, but nothing came out. But I planted the seed for something.
Yeah.
And then we have to move back to Puerto Rico. And I think a few months or a couple of months since, I arrived here, I read an article on the newspaper about this woman who became like the first virtual assistant in Puerto Rico. So I read about her, how she got, the whole interview, and I contacted, and then I start looking up about for that, what that is all about. And when I read what it entails, and you are online and you could be anywhere, and I'm like, that is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I trained, and all of that, got certified and took many courses. But I always knew that was just an opening door of opportunity for something else. I knew something else was going to happen, because I didn't necessarily want to be an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Not that there is nothing wrong with that. I work right now as an assistant, but I didn't want to have that as a business. And so I did it for like 6.5 years. And then I started learning about, coaching and all that, because that was all new to me. I knew about coaching, but not I thought it more as a therapy thing, not as like in the way it is now.
Yeah.
And so it took me some convincing of my own to give it a try. And so I obviously took the training and all of that, and I liked it. And yeah, and so the idea of mixing entrepreneurship with the business coaching, I think it was a match, and I like that. But yeah, I always saw, and that's how I think I manifested that thinking every day, and not, but I didn't know what. And then that came out, and I even met the person that it was on the article. We became friends and colleagues. We did things together, like seminars and workshops and everything. So it was really, and Google Hangouts, that's back then in 2010, 2011. That was quite popular, and we did it too. It was good. It was a good experience. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, obviously, what I would like is the bend time and space and be able to manifest things a bit faster than I am doing it. And then when it comes to the traveling and experiencing the, wanting to live abroad and enjoying that, came from my parents, because when our first trip was to Disney World, and it was like, I was like 7 years old, and I was like, oh my God, traveling, the excitement, getting on the plane and all that. And from there on, we travel every single summer.
Okay.
First was a week, then 2 weeks, and we will travel for a whole month. We went to North America, Canada. Then we went to Europe, like classic Europe, Western Europe. And then we went to Russia, China, we went to Asia. We went everywhere.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that stuck with me. And so I love to travel. I love to travel.
Isn't it grand? I will say that was a 2026 intention of mine. I thought, okay, if I'm not going to live abroad yet,
Mm-hmm.
why not travel? There are airplanes and I
Mm-hmm.
can take time. Why don't I just say I'm going to do it and do it? And so I have a trip to Morocco coming up in March, and then Paris, France in June, because I just thought, what am I waiting for? Like,
Exactly.
and I've been to Kuwait, Dubai, Guatemala, Antigua. I think that's it in terms of countries. And each time I like to go where the people are. Like, who lives here? What are they doing? Where are they eating? Like, where are the people
Mm-hmm.
that live here? Like, what's their life like? Like, that's what I enjoy. And so, especially when I went to Kuwait, I met someone who was able to like show me around from a local perspective. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, where are they going to get coffee? Where are they going to the movies? Where did they go to the market? Like, it was wonderful. So
When I went to Peru, and this story is, my mom passed away last April, so it's going to be a year soon. And that, I think it was towards the end of March, when my best friend, she said, we got together to have dinner, And she's like, "Oh, Yaritza, I have done something." And
Oh,
I'm thinking, "Oh my God, what have you done?" It's like, I booked a trip to Peru for November. And I'm like, "What? You're going to Peru? I want to go." And she's like, "Really?" And so, "Oh, yeah, I want to go." And but then I was like afraid because I knew my mom didn't have too long. She
oh,
was going downhill. And sure enough, she did like 3 or 4 weeks later.
mm,
And so it was very heart wrenching making the decision. I even talked to my mom and said, I really want to do that trip because all my other friends have been there, but I haven't, and I don't have anybody else to go with. I mean, I could go with by myself, but it would have been, and it was much better going with her. She's like
mm,
my best friend since high school. And my mom said something to me. She said, Yaritza, you gotta go. Because if you don't do it now, you're never gonna do it. You're never gonna go there. And since the trip was in November, I knew my mom wasn't gonna make it that far. I just knew it. And so, like I said, about 3 weeks later, perhaps 4, she passed away.
mm.
So to me, that's very, when I was in Peru, that was so significant, especially when I was in the visiting the Sacred Valley, because I had time to sit there and I was thinking, like having this conversation with my mom. It's like, I'm here, I'm finally here, and I made it, and all of that. So yeah, it was good, and I even got invited to go to Colombia for Holy Week. That's when she passed away.
Mm.
She actually passed away on Easter Sunday last year. And I said to our other friend, I said, "No, I'm not gonna go. I'm not moving from here until I know." And sure enough, she landed that same day. My mom passed away, and I left her a message, and she's like, "Oh my God, you were right." And so yeah, that's how things worked.
Hmm. Mom's
But yeah, I
always
love
right.
traveling. My idea is going like Spain. I may be able to get the Spanish citizenship
Oh,
I'm over there. So that's something I would really like to do because then it gives him even more freedom to move around, like, those European countries, EU countries. So,
that would
yeah.
be amazing. You wouldn't have to worry about a visa. That would be
Yes, yes.
awesome.
So, but we'll see what happens. But regardless if it happens or not, I still want to spend time over there and travel. And I want to go to like Korea, South Korea, and all that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Going back to the UK, do tell me because I definitely want to visit. Living there, I don't know if I could live in a climate that much rain and dreariness happens. Like, what
Mhm.
did you love about it?
Um, it's very green. Puerto Rico is very green. And the summer is beautiful. When it's sunny, it's just amazing.
Mm,
I like the idea that people are very dog friendly over there. A lot of people have dogs, and you have so many parks that you could go with your dog or just, walking.
hmm
And those are the things that I really like from over there.
mm,
I'm not gonna deny it. There were very difficult times for me during winter time. That gray, being indoors the whole time, and you get up and it's gray, and you go to bed and you get up again and it's gray, and those very long days. Me now reflecting on that is like, yeah, that did affect me.
hmm
Just that because we have dogs, we always have to go outside no matter what, and yes, so I couldn't live like a place like Norway, Finland, those places up there. I know I couldn't do that because it's just too much. And I am like somebody I heard sometimes says on weekends I like to get on YouTube Airlines. And so I watch the videos from like Norway, Sweden, and all of that. And I've been there, but that was many years ago. But I know that I couldn't be in a place where you have like almost 6 months of winter, like that long, and the darkness. No, I
Well,
like,
yeah, I live in Chicago and it is 6 months of depressing, cold grayness.
yeah. I live in Chicago back in 2000, 2001. But
Okay.
that it happens that winter was quite mild.
Okay.
But I
Well, I
went to
grew up
school
in
in
Wisconsin,
Indiana,
and
so I know how cold it gets over
oh,
there.
girl. And I grew up even more north up in Wisconsin when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's very cold.
And I'm a sunshine baby. I like it 85 to 95 humid. Sign me up every day. That's my jam. I know not a lot of people love it. I love it.
No, I don't.
Um,
I don't. That's one of the reasons why I want to like move away. Like summers over here,
too hot?
too hot, especially with the climate change.
Yeah.
July through until October, it's just nasty. I don't like it. I just want to
No,
move somewhere. Plus,
see,
it's
and
here
I
again
love
season,
it.
so.
When I was a little kid, I used to, before I opened my eyes, I'd be like, I hope it's sunny today. And then I'd crack my eyes and I'd be like, oh, it's not sunny today. That was like my whole childhood. I was always hoping the sun would be shining.
And the thing is, with England, it's like, oh, it's sunny now, and then half an hour later, it's like, oh, what happened to the sun? It's gone. So, but yeah, I have good memories from England.
I love that. Well, you've obviously well traveled. You're intelligent woman with a lot of life experience, and with life experience comes the Phoenix moments. And I say that because I have a Phoenix on my back. In
Hmm.
my 20s, I had a relationship that didn't go so well, and I came out of it going, I am a Phoenix. Like nothing is going to break me down in a way that I can't come back from. And so I looked at all my life experiences like that. There are moments where you're like, everything's great. And then there's a lot of life experience where it's not so great. And you either let it destroy you or you rise again like the Phoenix. And so for me, brighter and stronger than you were before. And that's how I look at the struggles that we go through in our life, because if you choose to, you can come out on the other side of it stronger and brighter.
Hmm.
What is one of the things in your life where you were in a dark place or you really were struggling, and what did that feel like to be in that place?
I think the fact that, like I was saying to you earlier, not having the career that I envision, that professional career that I really seek, but it never materialized for whatever reason. Maybe I was not. I don't have the maybe I didn't have the mindset, or I wasn't positive enough. But then you get so many rejections that being positive, it just stops happening. And living, I attend college, in the States, but then I came back here and I started and to get jobs over here, the type of career that I want to have. I think uni is more, because it's a smaller place, you needed to know people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't have that kind of pull like some other people had in order to like progress, and it got very frustrated. I was very negative, especially after I came from California, because we really wanted to stay in California, and not being able to do that, it put me in a very negative, bitter position.
Mm-hmm.
And then it isn't when I go back to, and yes, I discovered then the virtual assistant. I moved to the UK and start learning more and reading more about personal development, and that's when the change started to happen. And I started to understand that in order to change your life, you have to take action. You are responsible for that. You are the architecture of your own life. And so, but it's always, you are always learning. It's not something that you don't once and that's it, you keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was a very dark moment. It was very difficult. And then also the marriage not working out, because I wasn't able to be over there permanently, and he didn't want to come over here. So that brought, financially, it was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And also there were dynamics where, because my business wasn't going or growing, it's like, well, when are you gonna make any money, or when are you this is gonna happen? And well, you're gonna have to get a job, and but I'm like, if you're splitting your, and I was working remote at the time for a place over here, but I knew that was gonna come to an end because it was our contract. And it's like the financial situation was very stressful. And now that I'm working and also having this building and growing this coaching business, I feel so much empowered.
Mm-hmm.
The empowerment. Today, I went to give you an example of that. And I have been able to travel on my own, pay for it. That's very powerful and empowering to me. And today I stopped at the grocery store, and Valentine's Day is tomorrow. I mean, on Saturday. And so the place is full of balloons, flowers, and all of that. And I look, and I'm at the tail, and I'm looking at the roses, and they're so beautiful. And I'm like, I'm looking and looking. And you know what? I'm going to get half a dozen roses.
Oh.
That's it. I'm going to keep them in my bedroom. And that's what I did. And I'm so happy. And I feel it's something so simple, but I feel so empowered because I don't have to wait for a man or anybody to come and bring me flowers or whatever. No, I got them myself, and I'm happy about it. I'm over the moon to have those roses in my bedroom. So yes, things like that, to me, I find them very powerful. I think not just for me, but I know women should do that if you are like on your own. It just changes how you feel. Yeah.
Well, what's interesting is I can't help but think, because I had two intentions for 2026: travel abroad at least 2 times every year moving forward. And then the other one, I was like, because something came up a few times, and I was like, maybe this will be one of my 2026 intentions. So then I got my hands on the book by Catherine Woodward Thomas, Calling in the One.
Oh, I have that book. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she talks a lot about, if you want to call in the partner, you need to figure out who you're calling in, and then become that person. And I was like, okay, so I want someone that's generous. Well, then I have to be generous with myself. I want someone who is kind. Okay, well, then I need to be even more kind to myself. So for you with the roses, it's like, it would be lovely to have someone come home and surprise you with some flowers because they're beautiful and it's thoughtful. I can do that for myself. And so I'm already putting it out into the universe, talking about more manifestation, to call in someone who also does that and values that and sees that as important in a relationship, because you're already treating yourself the way you want to be treated. Does that make sense? I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Very good book.
It is a good book. Yeah.
Yes. I'm not at that point in my life
You're
where
not ready yet. No,
I'm
you're
calling
telling
anybody. I'm calling myself. But for whoever, actually, I bought that book for a friend of mine, and but she didn't like it. Oh, I already know, and but then she's still on her own because she's not calling in the one. You see.
Yeah.
But it's an excellent book, and yes, I believe in that. Totally believe in that.
Well, and it also is, what are you giving up? Because I will say, whether it's business or your fitness or calling in the one in terms of partnership, you have to give up a belief that you've been holding on to. And I had to give up the belief that men make women's lives more difficult, because I was holding on to this belief that, okay, if I'm in a relationship, now I'm going to have to sacrifice where I want to live, how I want to live, how loud I am. Because what if I have someone that wants to keep me quiet and keep me small? I thought, I'd rather just be single. It's easier. Because then nobody can hurt me. Nobody can try to change me. I don't have to sacrifice anything. Well, then it was like, well, if that's the energy I'm putting out, that's not helpful either. Now
it's like having a repellent.
Yes,
and basically building a wall and
more
having
men.
Repellent.
Yes. So anyway, so it was like, what do you have to give up? So even if it's your fitness or your business, if you believe that business is hard, or you're never going to be successful, or it's for that person but not me, well, of course you're not going to succeed. So there's certain things, the beliefs that you have to give up to also then call in what you're trying to call in, whether it's a partner or a successful business. Now, speaking of your business, Yaritza, will you share if someone were in an elevator with you and you're like, you're really awesome, what do you do? What would you tell them?
Well, that I work with women over 40 who are
Mm-hmm.
in the first 3 years of business, building and growing their business. And they're a little bit lost, and they got to that point of where I have done everything, but nothing seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the very specific I want to, I'm working with. That's the area.
I love that. And are they gals that are maybe in some sort of corporate career, or they
It could
have,
be women who are, I want women who already have, they know what it is that they want to do.
Mhm.
They're on the, but they probably need to tweak what it is that they're focusing on, especially like their ideal client target audience area, because I like to go into building the foundation, because
Mhm.
knowing your problem, I mean, knowing what is the problem, you obviously want to be the solution to that problem. And so you
Mhm.
have to be very specific about that. And that's where I like to go in and see, well, what is it that you're doing? What problem are you solving? And to who you are solving that problem. And a lot of people kind of like may not have the message, or to be understood as to that is what people are wanting, or maybe
Mhm.
what they're offering is, well, that's there is not real need in there.
Mhm.
And that's important to have it figured out early on, because your marketing depends on that, your which is your messaging, what you're gonna promote, what you will use to promote yourself, your messagings. So you have to be very clear of who you are helping and what it is that you're doing for them, because at the
Sure.
end of the day, people want to know what is in it for me.
Oh, absolutely, with them. In terms of I love that you're the ideal client that you like to work with is a woman 40 plus. Sometimes women feel like they've aged out of things or they're not as relevant anymore.
Hmm.
And what for you, and then also if you're working with a client and she's like, well, I don't know, no, who's going to listen to me, now I'm older, and that insecurity there, how do you handle that? How have you worked through it your own self to go, no, I'm actually in my best era yet, like I've got things to say? Like, was there a time where you weren't as sure of yourself, and how did you work through that?
Um, those are thoughts that cross my mind, but I
Mm-hmm.
never let them linger in my mind.
Okay.
Um, I think something that will affect me more is, will I be able to make it? Will that happen? I think that's more of a stronger thought that you may have from time to time. When in terms of age, because of what I want to do and with who I want to work, I never found it too difficult to I mean I to doubt. um but if someone is like that, then you have to, I think they have to educate themselves, but also you have to let them see why and give them example as to why not you, because um all you have to look is women who started business in their 40s and 50s, and there's so many examples out there for that. And I think that those are inspiring. I think women need like to a role model, so they are inspired.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I will try to help them. But I think the desire must be very strong also.
In terms of your next adventure, obviously you're building your business, you love to travel. Where is your next travel in the short term, and in the long term, in the next 3 years? What do you want your life to look like? What are you manifesting?
Well, for this year, I am planning to go to the Christmas markets in Europe. I already have like, which I've been using ChatGPT to help me come up with places to go. And I want to travel by train. Obviously, I have to fly there first, but yeah.
Yeah.
And so I want to, yeah, that's my plan, because I've been wanting to do that for some time now, and I haven't been able to do that.
Now, do you have a few spots where you know you're for sure you're going to go?
Germany, Austria,
Okay.
and I think it will be Budapest, I think, or Hungary, or
Okay.
Czech Republic, one of those. Yeah.
Do they have the best Christmas markets?
Yes, that's why Germany has more than one city that you could go visit. And this past Christmas, I look at, I saw a documentary on the Christmas markets in Germany and in Austria. So they have more than ones.
I love
And
that for you. Now, you
yes,
talked about Peru that you went with a girlfriend or more than one girlfriend. Some of these other trips, are you traveling alone? And I ask because most of my travel is solo travel. So I'm curious about, especially when you go abroad, are you going on your own?
this one will be on my own, because none of my friends likes the cold weather.
They're like,
we're
and
planning we're planning a trip, the three of us. We're thinking perhaps for Thanksgiving week, going to New York City, the three of us.
are you going to
And
go to Rockefeller? I've always wanted to see the Rockefeller tree. I think this is so cool.
yeah, that would be the idea. I went one time, like back some years back. I went during that and went to the Macy's parade,
Hmm.
which you're better off watching that on TV. Otherwise, you just people stepping on your toes. But yes, it's been a long time that I haven't been in New York City, so it would be nice to do that. Do all those places, yeah, Rockefeller Center and all that. So,
It sounds like your girlfriends are quite important to your life, no?
oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. The three of us studied together. We know each other since ninth grade in high school, and yeah, we always kept close,
Hmm.
and we still do. So yes, they're very important. They're pillars in my life. Yes.
I love that. All right, so like 3 to 5 years, Yaritza is where? What is she doing?
Okay, 3 to 5 years. I want to obviously my coaching business to be the full-time thing that I do, and perhaps look into something else also on the side, but split my time between Europe, the UK, and Puerto Rico. That's what I am aiming for.
I love that. That
And
is
travel
wonderful.
business first class.
That is on my list as well. So I get that absolutely. You know, the
Yes.
last couple times I flew, I went to Florida and both back and forth on American, they're like, hey, for this amount of money, you can upgrade to first class. And I was like, that's it? Because normally it's like several $100s. And this
Yes.
one, way less than $100. I don't know if they were desperate or what was going on. And I was like, yes, I will. Because you like, if you upgrade to first class, they don't charge you for a checked bag. And I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
paying almost as much for a checked bag as I am to upgrade to first class. So I'll
Mhm.
take that first class. And I was like, this really is better. Like sometimes they're like, oh, it's not that much better. No, it is better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I want to upgrade to that level, and
Good for
that's
you.
that's what I'm looking for. I'm
Let's put
aiming
it
for.
into the universe. And for the woman that's like, hey, I'm 40 plus and I'm like totally wanting to get my business up and going and make my messaging very clear and succeed as an entrepreneur, where can they like, follow, and find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Yaritza Be Coach. I'm on LinkedIn, my name.
Okay.
And my website is yaritzabaez.com. And
Nice.
also my podcast, which is my entrepreneurial journey, and it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon.
Love that. Okay. And we'll put that in the show notes. So we make sure we have that. I love that you did that with your name, with your website. That's what I did way back in 2013. I didn't even know what to do with a coaching business, but I was like, let me buy my domain name. So I have that.
Yeah, my husband bought me that domain a long
Yeah.
time as a birthday present. And I
Oh,
didn't use that. For my virtual assistant, I never, And I thought, no. But then I always kept it. And so, and then I decided, yes, I'm gonna use my name. Fine, that domain that he got me as a birthday present. So yes.
For you. Good for
Yeah.
you. Well, I appreciate you being here, and where your dreams are coming true because we put it into the universe and it's going to happen.
And so for you. And it was a pleasure to be here talking with you and, sharing our experiences and what we visualize for the future.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If today's episode hit you in your heart and left you feeling empowered, please do me a favor and leave a review on Spotify or Apple. It helps more than you know, and it makes it easier for other women to find this show and feel less alone. And if you're feeling bold, screenshot the episode and share it on your stories or DM it to a girlfriend of yours. Getting the word out is how we grow this unapologetic movement. This podcast exists because women like you are pure magic. And feeling confident in your body isn't something you earn, it's something you decide. You can keep holding yourself back, or you can start living out loud. Dress how you want to dress, chase the dreams that light you up, prioritize your pleasure, and fully enjoy the delicious, messy, powerful experience of being a woman. Until next time, get at me in the DMs. I always love hearing from you.